There's a good one right there. Now, remember that Larry Jones was like 6'4" with these legs that were like Gumby legs, and he could basically, get them up to his nose. I used to be able to do, kind of that. With the way my hips are, I can't, because I used to be able to just put my leg up on the table, just like that, and just, have my foot here, and I could have them rest on me. I'm not doing that anymore. So I'm just using my body to do this. But put both hands on each other, like overlap them. Put your head in the hands. And what we're doing with the diaphragm point is I'm basically rotating her toward the point, right? It's a right-sided anterior costal margin point. I'm rotating her toward the point, and I'm pulling her away. And is that better?
No.
So I'm going to rotate her a little bit more. And just push your arms and your body into my hand, my arm. And then release. Drop your belly. Thank you. How's that now? Is it gone? Good. That looks cozy, doesn't it? If you've got something that where you think it's appropriate, will you move your feet onto the table? So lift up and bend your knees a little bit. Bring your feet up, and then that's it. Flop. Nope. That. So it adds a little bit of release. That's really good now, right? So like this little S curve here. We'll revisit that when we're talking about the ribs.
Rotating them away.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, right when you started, you said rotate towards.
Well, again, I have a dyslexic backwards point of view.
Oh.
I look at it as going into the point. From an anatomical perspective, we're rotating away from the point.
Okay, I've been sitting here trying to think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but anatomically, we're rotating away.
The point is on the right.
The point is on
What's that
the
mean?
right.
Did you have a fly in
Hold
front of
on.
your face?
The point is on the right anterior costal margin,
Right.
and I'm rotating her torso to the left.
Right. Correct.
And I can just kind of, again, I'm locking my arm here. I can just kind of, oh no, don't help me. Kind of spread her out a little bit. That doesn't help. So I'll keep her back over her. There we are. Good? Push down again. And release. Ooh. And look what we're doing. If you think about the shape of the hemidiaphragm, we're actually shortening the right hemidiaphragm. Right?
And extending.
Yeah. So we're bringing the right hemidiaphragm in. Good. Come back up. Now, if the point were way lateral, put your arms on me again, please. If the point were way lateral, I would be side bending her way more, and that's where having her legs on the table would be much more important.
On the table? Oh.
Like that, right?
So there's no tension.
So that's an extreme side bending.
Yeah, I'm really stretching her out so that I can relax this point. If it's really lateral, if the point is close to the xiphoid process, like real medial, like in here, just sore point, it's almost pure rotation with no side bending. Let me have your hands. Oh, your forearms. Do that. Head on it, and I'm just gonna really rotate her, and that's better.
Is the point?
Push that right shoulder into my belly, to my chest. And relax. It's a costal margin point. It just happens to be closer to the xiphoid.
So you could have turned her either way.
What's that?
You could have rotated her either way. Or,
If it's on the xiphoid.
I mean,
Yeah.
is it
Well,
really central?
nothing is ever on. If it's on the xiphoid itself, I've never seen a point on the tip of the xiphoid.
Yeah.
I'm on the right side of the xiphoid. So if you recall what I said was, if it's on the costal margin, closer to the xiphoid, then it's pure rotation. If it's further away that's laterally, then it's more side bending. Okay?
And those are all the liver points too.
What's that?
Those are the liver points.
They could be, but those points aren't sore. I mean, when we do for
No,
the,
yeah.
you know, the not liver points, this is the positions of the chakras. Of these little knobby ribs sticking out, and there's, you know, you can count them. I mean, they're there. There's 1, there's 2, here's 3, here's 4, here's 5, here's 6. 6 is lower and kind of stuck in there. That's kind of a sore one, isn't it? So, if the rib is stuck up, and you want to exaggerate the distortion, what do we do with the rib cage? Lift it up. Lift it up. If the rib is stuck up, what do you want? And we want to exaggerate and support the distortion, basically bring the rib cage to the distortion. What do you do with the rib cage on that side?
Higher.
Yeah, lift it up. So, put this arm on me. This is where if you had your, and just rest right here, and I'm monitoring a point with my thumb. This is where, again, it has a rotational component. It's like the diaphragm. The higher the rib, the more rotation and lift and the less really extreme side bending it is. And that feels pretty good there, doesn't it? So I could tell Elaine, if the pain's on the left and it feels like the pain's all posterior, why don't you sit on a sofa, right? And put your left shoulder and arm on the back of the sofa and lean and just kind of rest your body on it. Maybe a couple of times push down onto the sofa. Go ahead, push.
Okay, cool.
And relax. Good. And it kind of melts. Very cool. Right? Now, what's really kind of cool, leave this hand there. Now, if the pain is anterior, put your legs up. And I can tell her to do that on the sofa. And look at how she's kind of slinging along the sofa and resting, right? Now, that works for an elevated rib. Now, if the ribs are stuck in elevation on one side and the tender points are posterior, you put your head back into me now, straight back, up. And so now what we're considering is a possibility that there are anterior stuck ribs on the other side, and they would be along that mid-clavicular line, and the points are anterior. Those are sore. Less sore there. There's a good sore one right there. Okay? So now, if the anterior points or the rib is stuck or depressed in exhalation and depressed down, what are we going to do with the rib cage on that side? Yeah.
Push it down.
So what we're going to do now is, look at what I'm doing. I'm pushing her shoulder down while I'm lifting her up. Right? The higher ribs, I'm not taking her out so far, and I'm rotating her forward a little bit. This arm will just go across here. Right? See, and I can put my forearm or my elbow on her and push your shoulder up. Shrug that shoulder into me. Try to straighten right up. And then release. There we go. Head right back into me. And what I can actually do is use the head as a lever a little bit and add that to it. Let's go back to our point. How's that feeling now? Yeah. Push. Pull this left one down. Hard. And release. So I would have my leg up on, my left leg is still up, right? But the place I'm working is not the back of the left side stuck in elevation. But in order to get the anterior one to release, I'm lifting the left side, the posterior one, higher. Right? So if we were doing posterior right, anterior left, it'd be the same thing. Kind of sweet, isn't it? And you can use the head to work it. You can use the shoulder to work it. Push down again, please. And push up again. Release. That didn't do much. Push that left shoulder down really hard. And release. If it happened to be one of the really low points, let's say that one. Okay. Then what I would be doing is really cranking her far and rotating and bring that arm across. Good. And just down. That's good. Just rest it. That's it. How's that now?
Better.
Kind of cool. Whole torso leverage. So this is a great segue from the upper extremity and neck down through the torso, where we're ending up in the pelvis, which is our next unit. Cool?
And this is low rib,
This is a depressed rib.
depressed rib.
The point, well look, we're buckling it down, right? I can come in here and say, okay, Rico, push that shoulder up in the knee. And release. Cool, eh? Now, is this that different? Kinda, if it's a really low rib on the left side that's stuck up. So there, same thing, just stay where you are. Yeah. There I'm palpating posteriorly, and there I'm bring her back a little bit and really, drop your head, soften everything. There. So now it's I'm working the posterior rib and stressing that part, but it's also the same relative position for the anterior rib. And again, slowly, slowly out. Bring your legs down. Okay. Because the ribs are really intimately associated with the sympathetic chain ganglia. Remember down? Mm-hmm. Right? Strong sympathetic response. You really want to make sure you're holding on to them. The releases are often very profound and often very consciousness altering. You good? Mm-hmm. You really want to hold on to them for a while. You want to make sure they're okay. And that, again, has to do with the fact that the intercostal nerves, right? Remember them?
Yeah.
They're spinal nerves. They have the highest order of pain and sympathetic fiber receptors in the body, right? The intercostal nerves are headed out to help segmentally feed data in and out of the sympathetic chain ganglia. So